Hello everybody, today I would like to talk with you about inclusive education in the US, obstacles and benefits. We all have been left out at some point of our life, either at playground or at school or in hospital. There are as well many people who are secluded because of something they are born with, something they cannot change. At some point of my life, I volunteered for the home for senior people in Ukraine. And just imagine my puzzlement when I saw that I wanted to say children, but it's better to say teenagers of 16 or 20 years with Down syndrome there. Why they were placed there? Because actually they graduated from orphanage school and they have nobody to live with, or even better to say, they have no place to live at, as they didn't have any knowledge how to communicate with Commonwealth, let's say. They were secluded from ordinary people, and I think it's not right. People with disabilities are secluded from common environment, for example, from school even now. And that's why I would like to try and persuade you to stay for inclusive education that guarantees free education for all children regardless their physical or mental abilities. That's why, firstly, I would like to introduce to you the term inclusive education and how it was before inclusive education. Secondly, I would like to tell you about the benefits of inclusive education for children with disabilities and without disabilities. And thirdly, I would like to inform you about obstacles that inclusive education implementation face now in the US. So, inclusive education is when all students, regardless of any challenge they faced, are placed in an age-appropriate general education class, and they received high-quality instruction and intervention according to Common Core. Shortly, it says that diverse children are placed in one class. Before inclusive education, it was regarded that children with disabilities are excluded from general schooling. Even those children who were considered educable were considered that they must be taught by professionals, by special professionals, and according to different curriculum. But everything has changed in 1916 due to parental activism, and when the Act for Educational Act for All Children was passed in U.S. Congress in 1975. Actually, this act was renewed by the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, simply called IDEA, that guarantees a free education for all children with disabilities. It was a very important step because all the inclusive education in the US is based on this act. So now I would like to speak about benefits of inclusive education. As you may imagine that the first benefit of inclusive education for children with disabilities will be that they are placed in general environment and they can communicate with peers that don't have disabilities, and they can learn how to accommodate for this environment. For children without disabilities, it's a great chance to be taught the tolerance and to accept others' differences. So it is a social aspect of benefits. What about academic? Definitely, children with disabilities academically are exposed to richer curriculum, and they have more opportunities to learn. What about children without disabilities? Having children that have some difficulties in learning it, children without disabilities can work as peer coaches. They can try to explain the same material to their co-students with disabilities and at the same time learn itself. As well, teachers having inclusive setting in the classroom use more diverse forms of explaining the same material. For example, they can use visuals, they can use auditory devices, kinesthetic. All this beneficial as for children with disabilities as well without disabilities. And as you may see, inclusive education definitely have benefits for all the children, but still it faces some obstacles in implementing. First of all, it's as teachers of inclusive education classroom, since they feel a lack of appropriate training and professional development. Secondly, as there is an inclusive education classroom, it presupposes that there will be additional staff and paraprofessionals. Schools actually experience paraprofessional turnover because of inappropriate wage, lack of work development, as well as stress. And as for me, the sad but not the less important obstacle in implementing inclusive education is actually the stress that children with disabilities experience being placed in general environment. But putting everything together, I would like to say that, in my opinion, inclusive education can be substituted by the term of normalization, that is, making people with intellectual or physical disabilities to feel like everyone else and to make them believe that they can do everything that everybody else can do. That's why inclusive education is an opportunity for children regarding their ability to receive general core curriculum education. It is already proven that inclusive education beneficial as for children with disabilities as well without disabilities. And still, besides all the promising benefits, inclusive education implementation face a lot of obstacles. That's why when we speak about inclusive education, we must bear in mind Jane Embodies saying, communities that include everyone become stronger and everyone wins. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.